Hello and welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at artofjvelez or on Instagram at jvelez622 where I share some doodles that I work on and a little comic book story that I'm currently working on as well, free of charge. I do this for fun and I just enjoy talking and sharing comic books. Like, follow, and subscribe if you like the channel. We're going to go over comic book stories that I have. I own a lot of comic books over the years. We're going to use digital, however, because it's easier to share on digital on your computer screen or phone. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here. I have a very, very, very special treat here for everyone. As everyone knows, I am a huge mark for Walt Simonson, and we're going to be looking at Superman Special #1 from 1992. It's a huge book, written and drawn by one of my absolute favorites, Walt Simonson. And look here, there are some pinups by Frank Miller, Barry Windsor Smith, Kurt Swan with Art Thibert, John J. Muth, Michael Golden, Jeff Darrow, and Todd McFarlane. So this is prior to the Doomsday being released by DC Comics. Um, so we start with a great image, a very powerful image of Superman here, drawn by just one of my absolute favorites. So if I could get Walt Simonson to draw everything, I would. So here's the Antarctic. It doesn't mean that it's Antarctica, just it's somewhere near there. And Superman has created his Fortress of Solitude down there. Here are your credits with Walt Simonson and John Workman, of course, doing his lettering. John Workman is seems to be exclusive to Walt Simonson and other, but he always works with Simonson. Simonson requests him because the dude is probably the best letterer out there. So we see Superman breaking this boulder using some heat vision, and it looks like he is creating something. And he says here it's done, and he's basically created a monument here to three of the enemies of Krypton's that he had. He ended up killing in toward the end of John Byrne's run. So, and he has guilt about it. So he wants to create this monument so that our memorial, so that he never forgets what he had to end up doing. And he puts an inscription that Superman will forever be the champion of life, and never its destroyer, as long as I walk the green hills of Earth. So here's Zod, Zuriel, and I don't know, not Non, but he mentioned it in the previous one, but doesn't really matter. So we're at the Daily Planet here, and we see some hills, so we can only assume that that is Lois Lane. So Lois hears something behind her, and it's of course Clark coming out from the broom closet. She asks him what she's doing, and he goes, "Oh, I thought this was the bathroom." And so they have a little banter back and forth, and he asks her where's she going in such a hurry, and she says that there is a company called Cosmography Industries that is creating some stealth technology, but nobody knows who owns that company, although she has her suspicions. But she doesn't think that whatever they're doing is good. So here they're performing some kind of experiment, and suddenly it explodes, which of course Clark hears with his super hearing. So Superman says he's gonna go do some investigating himself and bumps into Jimmy. And Jimmy says, "What's your hurry?" He says, "Oh, I'm double parked." And Jimmy goes, "But you don't have a car." And so another great image of Superman by Simonson. He's such an inspiration to me. He's just one of my absolute favorites. He loved this panel so much he signed it here. So Superman is a pretty cool character, but I love interpretations from other artists and writers, and Simonson, of course, is just perfect for Superman. I wish DC would let the man write and draw it, because I know it would sell. Superman gets there and says that um, the Lois was wrong. They're not working um, on stealth because he doesn't see any stealth harbor lying around, but does see people still trapped inside. He needs to hurry before before another. We can see that it's explosion, most likely that he was trying to reference a great kind of like atomic almost looking at it. So for those of you who have been following me using the Orion or with the Orion series that Simonson is working on, you'll recognize these gentlemen here as the Newsboy Legion. And they're gonna steal their car, the Whiz Wagon, as it was called. This is a Jack Kirby creation. The Newsboy Legion are, and so they're gonna go pick up Jimmy Olsen, and they're saying, "Hey, something's out at Cosmography Industries." And so Jimmy gets in, and Lois, of course, says, "Wait, that's my story. You're not going to steal it." So she jumps in with them. So we pick up with Superman after that explosion, which drove him into, um, like the side of a rock here. So he still needs to rescue people. So off he goes. No time to relax. So he's here rescuing people. An helicopter is coming in, who has Lex Luthor, who sees that this place is destroyed, tells Superman to get out, that this is private property, he's trespassing. And Superman's not leaving until he makes sure he helps those people. And then realizes that this is one of his little enterprises. And he was trying to cover whatever it was really happening there. So he has a kryptonite that that's what they've actually been working on. They're trying to synthesize kryptonite, and he says to leave or he'll give him this. So he takes it out and then eats it. And Luthor can't believe that it's happening, and he says, "Oh, it's just ordinary lead. Looks like whatever they were working on was destroyed." And Lois asks what's happening, and he's like, just saving some of his employees. And Luthor's like, "I give him a snack as my thank you." And Luthor is angry because he feels like he destroyed Superman's only invulnerability. So I love the Dust Devils hanging around here as Superman's leaving. Walter Simonson, I tell you, look, I love the rendering here. What a drawer he is. So Superman is kind of flying, and then he topples a little bit and then goes back to flying. He says he felt dizzy for a second. And Luthor saw this and says, maybe whatever it was that he was working on isn't lost yet. And Lois is trying to set up an interview, and Luthor has them escorted out of the area. So later that night, where Superman had hit the side of that rock, suddenly this creature begins to um, come out. And if you can see, it's similar to how Bizarro was. So it's some kind of Superman. And these guards see it. They try to or hear it, the commotion. They try to investigate, and they're hit. And so Superman is doing the dishes and he's trying to blow dry one of his plates there, but he doesn't get super wind and feels like his powers are leaving him. And another great composition here by Simonson. I just can't stress enough how amazing Walt Simonson is. He basically then dresses as Superman and goes out to investigate what's happening. Great panel. And he sees the hurt guard and the paramedics there. And then he once again feels very weak. And he needs to get away from that area. And you can see that whatever was happening, this creature is now getting his powers. Like I said, um, very similar to how Bizarro was created. And so we see a helicopter, which is probably Lex Luthor. And he is bringing a tracker here, who he is basically forcing him to work. He has kidnapped his family. So the tracker basically says that Superman landed there and something's come up. And Luthor wants him to find it. Love this panel here with the silhouette, all black, and then create just the negative space here. So they want to find what's going on. And Superman feels something is wrong. Great panel here, kind of like an all body shot of Superman with a pretty cool tangent. I don't think this was on purpose, but look how the cape comes from him and then at the same time falls. So it's pretty cool. I don't know whether that was on purpose or if it was just a happy accident or coincidence, but it's pretty cool. So Superman uses his telescopic vision and sees that someone is heading toward him and knows who he is. And you can see that this is becoming Superman, this creature. And if you remember the name of this story, it was called The Sandman. So this creature is probably made out of dirt and sand. And he disintegrates. And Superman kind of starts to investigate, and flies away. And look, those little tornadoes are forming again, and he is reforming. And he is getting all of Superman's powers. Here's his X-ray vision. So great. I love it. I love how he created this. So Luthor is still searching, and they see the commotion and see this Superman-like being there. Love the coloring, because it's made out of sand, and so this oranges and yellows work great. And Luthor's ordering that they assemble a team to intercept. And so notice that the armors they wear are similar to Luthor's armors during the Silver and Bronze Age. So they attack the creature. The creature tries to run away. They're essentially trapping him. And now it's got Luthor is able to take it. So, and Luthor wants to talk to him. He goes to attack Luthor and uses a hologram with a picture of Superman. And Luthor notices he wants to destroy Superman. So Luthor basically has something better than the kryptonite. He's got someone that he can use to kill Superman. And Superman is just pondering and trying to decide what the heck is wrong with his powers. And then he hears something, so he goes to investigate and sees that these kind of terrorist robbers are making a commotion. And suddenly he loses his powers and he falls. Great lettering by John Workman. It's just Workman and Simonson work so well together. So from the back of that truck comes that sand Superman. He's coming around. Superman gets weaker when that creature's around, and the creature gets stronger. And then here comes the Newsboy Legion. And they're going to try and help him. And then Jimmy Olsen is with them. Great composition, great action sequences. Simonson is just so good at what he does. So if Superman thinks that if he hits him hard enough, maybe he won't reform. And the Newsboy Legions are trying to stop these guys here. So Superman managed to destroy it, but he keeps reforming, and now his strength is gone. So that creature is basically noticed is stealing all of his powers, and Jimmy knows that's happening, so he hits him. And the creature, of course, is not quite happy. So Superman takes off so that the creature will follow him. So Superman is getting away, and the creature is going behind him, and he follows. He is able to keep up with him, and Superman is running into the Fortress of Solitude. And the creature decides enough is enough, but he does not have invulnerability yet. Superman still has it, which is why he hasn't died, regardless of all the other powers. The creature just keeps assaulting him and hitting him, and that he'll beg him to die. And notice now the creature is actually turning into Superman. Superman has one more trick up his sleeve, and they're showing actually a kiss, and they're touching anyway. Suddenly the creature is flooded with the memories, and sees the three killers from Krypton: Zora, Zod, and Quetzal, and that he will kill them. But then he had forgotten there were statues that he had made. Rather, Superman did it. And I like how he lightens up the... Notice that the red here, kind of a little orangish, showing that this guy is taking everything. And then he remembers that he would not kill again, and he realizes that he can't kill Superman, and feels that dread in his soul or in his heart or whatever. And there's a large explosion. Simonson is the king at creating explosions, with wonderful lettering by Workman Jr. So Luthor is arriving by his limousine, and he is can't believe it's been almost 2 days and he hasn't received any word um at all of whether Superman's dead or not. But Superman, of course, is waiting for him. I love this dynamic of Superman actually taunting Lex Luthor. Wish other writers would do that. So, and tells him that the creature gave his life for him because he became him and knew that Superman is a good person. So anyway, he tells Luthor that that trick probably won't work twice and not to push his luck. So the end of our story here, as Superman, of course, defeats Lex Luthor once again. So we're going to be looking at some of the pinups here. This is Barry Windsor Smith. It's very simple, very elegant. Frank Miller. Man, Frank Miller's art has really evolved. It's amazing. And Kurt Swan, who was a Silver Age Superman artist. Michael Golden. John J. Muth. And, of course, one of my most favorite artists, Todd McFarlane, into this absolute beautiful, beautiful piece. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Superman Special from 1992. I have one more thing to show you. This is from a year later, from The Legacy of Superman, with a wonderful cover by Art Adams. But what I want to show you is a short story that Simonson drew. Now, Simonson did not write this, so I have to tell you, I haven't really read it. I got this just because Simonson. So, Simonson draws it, I buy it. So, very good image. So, we'll just kind of be quick. I believe this is the Newsboy Legion. He's a huge Kirby fan, so he always puts these kids everywhere, just as an homage to Kirby. So I really don't know what the story is behind this, nor is it really, I don't really care. Like I said, I got this for the Simonson portion, and so if ever you want to read it, just pause this or, I don't know, buy it. But it's almost over here. Like I said, it's a very short story of about 10 pages. Simons's art just does not disappoint. And we get to the end right here. So, just a short little Superman kind of blurb that he did a year later. So, like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.